doing? Let's take this opportunity to bless yet another space. This is one very beautiful ritual present here in Bali, where I just moved to. Balinese people really understand the value of blessing. They do it as often as every day, several times a day, I believe. You see offerings in front of buildings, businesses, homes, and of course temples. So, good morning. I was thinking it'd be really funny if I call this the cock talk, because there's no morning without the cock singing their beautiful songs. Okay, so I'm taking this time and this opportunity to tell you that I will be releasing a series of videos in the form of a course, which will be structured as first foundational, lessons, and the main part will be the 4 stages, which represent 4 different elements. And there will be one last section of the course that will combine everything that you have learned, especially the 4 stages, to bring them into sort of a 5th element, let's call it. But the way I'd like to begin is just talking to you, perhaps you talking to me. I will place an opportunity to have a one-on-one session, and because this is the beginning of it, there'll be an introductory, like a very small introductory offer to take a one-on-one session for probably, I will decide whether a month or 2, most likely a month, and then it will go to original price. But so these would be separate. And one-on-one session, you also will see a chakra reading there, a psychic portrait that I can create for you, or you can commission. And there will be the actual teaching, spiritual teaching, a course that I have called Avatar, and that is about becoming the fuller, more complete and compelling version of yourself, sort of the kind of, as I like to say, the supernatural of the natural. So, but today I want to begin to talk more about the spirit. Because it's a spiritual teaching, obviously the word spirit is present there. You often hear people say, oh, spirit led me to it, or I'm in touch with source. And even we have this beautiful saying, in good spirits, right? I love that. The reason it's important not to be afraid or worry about the word spiritual, and is to, because there's nothing really behind it that's compromising you when you say it. And I think people need to be aware of that. What spirit is you. It's essentially, as I said, in good spirits means you are a sort of a spirited version of yourself. And when we think of spirits, which are sort of light, interesting. I didn't plan to use that word. It's sort of a light-hearted energy, right? If you think about distilling something, or the spirit of nature, right? It is sort of the essence, or the quintessential. It's an element that is very airy, right? It's almost impossible to touch. It's an invisible thing. But if we just break it down, it's very simply is a version of whatever we might be referring to. Let's say we talk about the self. That is just much bigger, much more compelling, much more grounded and comfortable in their self, in their body. It is like you, but the you that takes a lot more space. And I don't mean in the physical, I mean in the ether. Yes? It is you that follows your intuitive self, your intuitive nudges, the one that trusts the possibility of a lot of beautiful things. It is you that is profoundly comfortable, knowing, it is you in good spirits. Really, it is the happy you, perhaps confident you, but I wouldn't say arrogantly confident or egoically confident. It's when the confidence of you comes from not what you have, or where you come from, or who you know. I don't know, so many other things. It doesn't come from anything that is outside of yourself. it comes from a deeper knowing of the fact that you have got the answers that are right for you, because you do trust yourself, because you do love yourself, because if you develop that and you follow that day in, day out, you create a practice. And establishing that practice on a regular day basis creates a trust between you and you on that scale. Having the nudge, following that through, seeing the result, expands that relationship with you, with yourself. And that's just one step closer to the spirited you. So when I do this, I feel there is a need, or the spirit wants me, so the bigger version of me, the version that is connected to the divine or understands the divine to be it, to be me, is like a guiding light or guiding hand. So it tells me, in a way, what to do or what to say or what needs to be done, and then whether I take action on it is of course up to me. But if I do that, the result and the reward and the fulfillment of it is enormous, is uncomparable to anything. It is similar to overcoming a fear, because often our bigger self, our spirited self, pushes us to become a bigger version of ourselves, and it often relates to overcoming some of the fears or having courage to do things that we would normally not. Whatever that might be for you. So there's a need to explain that most of the things that happen with you do really happen internally. So the bigger part of living life has to be focused on what's going on there. And I think most of you, I'm sure, would agree that we have been looking outside of that space. So if there is space that's you, the physical you, there's also the internal you, the physical internal you, the emotional internal you, and that's one space, the body. We then have the external you, which is outside of you, but the close proximity of you. It's like an energetical field around you. That's still part of you, because wherever you go, you carry this little cloud with you. That is, if there was a mirror between your body and the space of your energetical field, it kind of reflects everything that's internally being held into the space here. If you just walk with me and imagine this, you will feel it and you understand. You can actually feel it. There are exercises to be able to see and feel where the person's energetical space ends, especially, it's quite feelable. You can feel it just above your head. There's a difference in sort of in the thickness of the energy, and in the back as well. Sometimes you can even test it out. You can sort of really pull energetically the person, physically pull, like feel like you're pulling, and they will even lose their balance. We got visitors. So, the internal you, your body itself, very important. That's where everything starts. That's where everything, that's the beginning. It's not the foundation. That's not what we'll discuss at the foundation course, because foundation course will help with just the concepts, because you need to know some of the things that I'm talking about need a bit of more explanation with what is duality and how that relates to alchemy and etc. Very simple but conceptual, sort of basic knowledge that you need in order to take it to the next step, and then really balance all the four elements within you to then become the avatar, the master of the self, the master of your life. The body. So we start with the body, and this is where everything is, and then a lot of attention needs to go there. Most of our attention is, we physically look out into the world and look for things that are outside of us to then give us back, which is completely not the way to go about it. You cannot find things like, hey, come, hello, come here, come, hello, come here, yeah, hi babe, where you been? Sorry. And then of course we have the space just outside of ourselves, the external us, which is in a way that would be the step 2 of our course. This is so as well important, because like I said, if you put a mirror between the body and your first external self, the energetical field, this is where everything that happens within you, where you're reflected into an energetical field, and that's what's being seen by the external forces, people, communities. Those two are probably the most important things. Come. And I think Spirit really highlights the importance of taking the time to understand these parts. So I'd encourage you to start looking not into beyond this energetical field of yours, but back into energetical field, but maybe even further back in. Because if the gaze is often outside, there's not much that you're gonna get from it. Because if you look inside, you'll find a space, a lot of space of different emotions, contractions, things that hold you together, or hold you together not in a way that free you up. So things need to be released, let go of, like baggage, a backpack that needs to be just unloaded. And because if it's not done, it is, like I said, it's reflected into your energetical field, and it's read in that field by others. And that's what comes in. That's what you bring forward to your reality. So if in this space you have these pockets of lack, lack of confidence, lack of just any lack mentality, or doubt, for example, is another one. Imagine these pockets sitting in your space, like a contracted energy, a thicker energy, like a little cloud, let's say, a darker cloud. That is what really affects your field. Having lots of these things doesn't allow you to move forward, and actually reflects back at you the same things that you hold on in this energetical field. Because everything outside of that energetical field, just think it doesn't exist. It's not really what's going to make you feel good. Yes, of course, you will add to it, but that's not the source. That's not where you derive your happiness from. Nothing ever there will fulfill you the way you can begin to fulfill from inside. This is where the source is. I can't believe I just said that. Wow. That's very profound statement. Yes, the source is you, and always will be you. Oh my God, that really moves things inside me. Source is you, and this is where you go. This is your holy water. This is where it begins. This is where it starts, and this is where it ends. So because everything outside of that energetical field is a mirror. Every person coming in through the door is there just as a mirror. A situation that they bring forth as a mirror for you to look at what's going on inside you, or energetical field, or if it has become a chronic thing and it's actually condensed into your body and became part of your cellular structure and kind of clogged up, and perhaps became a health issue. I I'd recommend meditation, communication with someone who is able to help you, therapy, a lot of the things that we carry in the field, unfortunately, or fortunately, otherwise I don't know what we'd be working with, are ancestral. To be honest, there's nothing that is not ancestral. Your whole bodysuit is ancestral. Everything outside of you is ancestral. Everything comes from somewhere and has been coming for a very long time. So it is no other way for it to be. It carries the energy of the past. That's why vintage and ancient objects carry a lot more energetical information. You can feel it. You feel the energetical field, which is much thicker. I think it's enough for today. I thank you all for being here with me and spirit, or the source itself. I salute you. Let me know if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you want to book on one-on-one, if you're interested in the course, express your interest on the website. I'll make sure all the links are up. Thank you. Have a good day.